special one. Life inside the US 4 billion nuclear submarine inside kitchen and sleeping rooms. This is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Submarines are very big part of war and what do you call
Mm.
what do you call war in the sea or in
I'll just say the Navy.
the navy? Yeah,
Yeah,
navy. Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
they are a massive asset of the Navy. Um, and also the US submarines are very advanced, bro. I don't know if I've said this already, Mike. As, if I haven't, the US submarines, yeah, one thing that gives them the advantage is the fact that they're very quiet, bro. So they could be on
And
the
they don't pop
ocean.
up on the radar.
Yeah. So like they could be on the sea, undetected, and they could launch a strike at any moment undetected, bro. And that's a massive asset because you could attack the enemy by surprise with catching them off guard. And stuff like this again gives the US military the advantage. You know, but yeah, we're fascinated. We're fascinated to dive in there. We really appreciate every single one of you guys that's been showing love to the channel. It means a lot. This is the 27th day in a row now that we've been dropping. Imagine, Mike. That's mad. 27 days in a row. Not many.
Commitment for you guys, man.
Yeah, let's dive in there.
Like anything else on this planet. It's a cramped undersea world where sailors work and live in for months. A very tight place for 155 people to live and work while underwater. And it's quite impressive how the crew members manage
really
to
tight,
stay
man.
away from each other. How they are ducking, bending or dodging to avoid running into each other while walking on the very crammed hallways. Submarines are an all-volunteer service, a fact that brings a certain amount of pride. Submariners say it is a certain kind of person who chooses a life under the sea, working in an environment incompatible with human life. Here space is precious. The nuclear reactors and propulsion takes up a third of the vessel, to which it adds up the flood tanks, a lot of cables, pipes, valves, missiles, torpedoes, and other equipment. So sailors are left with a very tight work and living space. The crew operates on a 20
Apologies, guys, but look at the space that they're working in, bro. They're sleeping in.
Sleeping is crazy, bro.
That's smaller than my bedroom. My room is pretty small. So that's fam. How many people are sleeping in this space? That's crazy. And I think some of these guys are out there at sea for months. Imagine living in those conditions for months. I have huge respect for all of these young men and women, that do this stuff, man. Serving their country. Fair play to them.
left with a very tight work and living space. The crew operates on a 24-hour day, split up into sections of 8 hours each. So they are on watch for 8 hours and have 16 hours between watches. Those that are not on watch will be doing maintenance, training, or other extracurricular work, leaving them with some or even no free time. Sailors have very little private room, and most of it comes down to their bunk beds and pulling the curtain.
Wow.
On the US's largest submarine, the Ohio class, on the third level off to each side, there's 16 bunk rooms in total. Each room has 9 individual racks, also referred to as coffins. And there's a little
What?
bit of storage space underneath it.
Well, they call it coffins. So it's like literally sleeping in a coffin, bro.
Madness.
My claustrophobia could never. I swear down, bro.
You're claustrophobic.
Yeah, I'm very claustrophobic. I love space. I love to be able to move around, because when I'm sleeping, fam, I'm always like rolling and stretching and moving my legs here and there. So I don't think I could survive in that type of space. What about you, though, Mike?
I'd probably be able to adjust, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, it's so uncomfortable.
But if you think this living quarter is small, well, remember this is the US's largest sub, and not all submarines have this kind of space.
That's the largest.
Moreover, many times there are more crew members than bunks, and this means sailors have to share the bed.
Wow.
Those that are not in their designated sleep period will leave their living space open for other crew members to get rest. This is called hot bunking. because when you got in your bunk it was still warm from the last guy.
That's
Plus,
crazy.
there are beds also in the torpedo room that often doubles as a sleeping and exercise room. Let's take a closer look at what the bedrooms look like. This is what the crew uses as their laundry bags. So whenever they change clothes, that's where they'll be putting the laundry. Each rack has a foot locker on it, and also each individual rack is assigned its own drawer where they can keep their stuff private. And there's a common locker, so each bunk room will have a common locker. This is usually where people hang up their jackets and things like that. Here's where sailors can fit their clothes. Extra flame resistant.
See, that's the thing. They got to be very efficient with space.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, go on, bro. Go on.
No, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, because when you have limited space, the people that were designing these submarines, man, they had to be very imaginative, very creative in how they design, the inside. Because
And you can't have too many clothes, man. You have to wash maybe like 5 outfits max.
yeah,
4 outfits and just keep washing and keep going, bro.
yeah,
Madness.
yeah.
Coveralls, working uniform, and place them in there, usually for the duration of the underway. There are no more than 3 toilets and 2 showers for enlisted to use, and they're pretty much open all day. Also, there's 1 shower for Chief Petty Officer, 1 for the officers, and 1 shower for the Executive Officer and Commander Officer. They only have 3 to 5 minutes of shower time. But if they have excess
Wow.
water supply, the Executive Officer
I can definitely not survive in there, bro. Because when I'm showering, yeah, bro, I spend at least like 30 minutes, bro. Minimum.
Bro, why?
I don't know.
Shower.
Yeah, I love showers, man, especially when it's warm. Yeah, I love.
I'm always in a rush. 10 minutes,
10 minutes, yeah?
12 minutes, 14 minutes max.
Yeah. No, I love my warm showers, man,
30 minutes in there.
and that's the minimum. Because I'm playing music.
In there, water only on for 30 minutes.
Yeah, man. It's very wasteful, but I like it.
How long do you guys shower for? Let us know in the comment section, man. I have showers for 30 minutes plus.
Yeah, I know, man.
may authorize Hollywood showers, meaning they can use continually running water. A sailor could shower however frequently they choose. In fact, the chief of the boat will usually demand sailors to take a shower if they smell like sweat. Officers share with 2 other officers a small room that has 2 drop-down desks and a drop-down sink. But unfortunately, they are censored due to the classified nature of the work that they do. There is a laundry room on the sub with 2 washing machines and 2 dryers where the crew members do their laundry. They assign different days and sign up times for each individual to be able to coordinate when they're off watch and be able to do their laundry. The lack of natural light makes keeping track of time very difficult, and sailors know the time by what type of food they're eating. If there are pancakes, then they know it's morning, but if they eat leftovers, then it's midnight. The food on the submarine is famously great. It kinda compensates the harsh conditions sailors have to face, so they eat pretty well. In fact, the best food you'll ever find in the military is on a submarine.
Wow.
A good meal is a major source of keeping a high morale, since they work long hours and have limited to no communication with their families. Low morale can lead to mental distraction and can lead to mistakes, which are not tolerated in this field of work. So submariners get the best food as well as the best cooks. They don't just peel and boil potatoes, they're trained at culinary school. There are 4 meals a day because of watch rotation, and the crew has ice cream
That's good.
available 24/7 to boost morale. And there is the same menu for the officers as it is for the enlisted men. This space is called the crew's mess, where the crew eats their buffet-style type meals. They eat 3 or 4 meals a day depending on their schedule, and again, they eat pretty good. US's ballistic nuclear submarines can carry enough food to stay submerged for about 90 to 120 days without any issues.
Wow.
So they have to get 90 to 120 days worth of food stored on board.
Yeah.
To put it into perspective, one submarine will typically carry about 20,000 pounds of food and will have about 1,500 pounds of ribeye rolled beef, 1,500 pounds of ground beef, 1,200 pounds of chicken breast, 400 pounds of bacon, 9,800
The interesting thing though, how do they keep it fresh? Because
Frozen and stuff, probably.
yeah, so a lot of this stuff is not gonna
Yeah,
be,
let us
proper
know how they
fresh.
keep it fresh, man.
especially like fruits and that, like can rot very easily. You
For
know,
sure, fruits is a struggle.
yeah.
Pounds of flour, 2,500 pounds of sugar, and more than 1,000 pounds of coffee, which, and this is the most important, always brews in the coffee machine. But since space is limited, the cooks and sailors have to get pretty creative in finding ways to store it and distribute its weight as evenly as possible inside the submarine. Everyone's bunk starts out with a bunch of cans underneath the mattress, and they even store
Wow.
canned foods in the showers. Also, the eggs and perishables
crazy.
are stored in the escape trunks, since the ocean is pretty cold because of the submerged depths they normally operate. Fresh food is the first that runs out, so then canned or frozen foods are in line to get served. And here's where the cooks also have to get creative but with their cooking. 6 to 8 people cook on a submarine, and they have to be ready to serve a meal at any given time. The biggest challenge to cooking on a submarine while underway isn't necessarily the limited space, but anticipating the submarine's movement. When the boat makes an unexpected move, then all of a sudden, all the hard work could be on the deck. The mess hall also doubles as space for sailors to spend their free time watching movies, playing video games or cards and board games.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
And most submarines also have a small gym that allows sailors to work out. Onboard fitness equipment generally includes an exercise bike, rowing machine, weights along with boxing gloves, pads.
And that's very important, bro, to have some type
makes
of
sense.
gym because, you know, because they have limited space, and limited space means not much exercise. You know,
If I was here, I'd have the same routine every day, be very organized and just
yeah,
keep going and keep morale, man. Honestly.
yeah. I've seen stuff like this in you know, the International Space Center.
Yeah.
They do stuff like this as well, where they have like gyms and stuff, because in space, like, you know, because of low gravity, you know, your muscles can weaken very easily. So they, you know, they do exercise regularly to, you know, to strengthen those muscles. I'm guessing it's probably the same concept, you know, in here. You know, yeah.
Pads and punching bags. There's another hard aspect of submarine life, aside from the very tight space and lack of natural light: communicating with the outside world. This is a very difficult process and strictly regulated. Submarines are sometimes equipped with onboard devices that can connect to the internet with higher data rates, including via satellite.
Wow.
But there is no such thing as a direct message platform in the submarine community. In addition to letters, sailors rely only on emails. And the thing is that every single email is read, examined for policy violations and operational security. So whether or not a sailor gets the email is up to those who are responsible with inspecting. The only time they get a chance to send emails home is when the submarine surfaces. But even then, receiving or sending an email isn't always guaranteed. When they're at the surface, the crew's access to the internet can be severely restricted. It is normal for sailors to go as long as a month, or even 2, without sending or receiving emails from home.
Wow.
Though they do
Crazy.
have missions where they can receive or send emails every week. This happens because when they send or receive emails, they are giving off a signal, thus exposing the submarine to detection by anti-submarine forces. So sailors are not allowed personal use of Wi-Fi or Bluetooth within a submarine. If personal computers or phones are allowed on board, the crew members can only use them when they are ashore. The whole point of a submarine is to pass unseen in order to be able to do its mission. Communicating with the outside world exposes them to high risks, as
Yeah.
it could leave them vulnerable to detection.
Discipline,
There is
man.
one thing, though, that
Yep.
submariners are allowed to do when others in the Navy are not: growing a beard. The grooming rules are more relaxed for sailors on a submarine than any others in the Navy. They are not required to shave every day.
It's a
They can
serious
even
barber.
grow a beard to a certain point, and their hair length and style are not so regimented. When it comes to providing medical care for any sick or injured crew member, there is no doctor on board a submarine. An
Really?
independent duty corpsman, or IDC, is the sole medical provider on board a submarine that works to ensure the safety and health of submariners. They have extensive emergency medical training above that of a paramedic, capable of performing an appendectomy. These guys are worth
Okay.
their weight in gold. The level of experience and training they need to be qualified at to serve as a submarine IDC is staggering. They are in charge of the entire crew's medical and dental health. On top of this is the radiation health program. So they
You
are
know,
also
I've got a question, man, for some of the people out there that have lots of knowledge about submarines and just the military in general. Like, why do they need so many people on board? What?
150.
Yeah. What do they actually do? All of these people. What's their job? You know. And I got a feeling in the next, I'd say maybe 50 years, a lot of these submarines are going to be autonomous, where you're not going to need anyone in there to, to control it, right? Especially with AI rapidly advancing. I think a lot of these people are going to be made redundant. And yeah.
Considered as the radiation health officer on board the sub and have to document the radiation exposure. Beyond the medical care they provide, the IDCs also have other tasks to perform while on deployment. They prepare for industrial hygiene surveys and monitor the ship's atmosphere, are in charge of the medical supplies, and they inspect the food and water quality on board. This is where the officers dine and is called the wardroom. They have all their meals here, and it's all assigned seating. So you have like the captain, XO, and then everyone else can just fill in where need be. An additional purpose of the wardroom is that this table doubles as surgery table while they are underwater. In case the IDC has to perform an emergency surgery while underway, it would take place in the wardroom. Here is the control room, or the brain of the submarine as it is also called, where all the magic happens. From here is where the sailors drive and operate the submarine, change buoyancy and direction of where they're going, and keep the ship safe. With the assistance of sonar and their tracking contact, they make sure not to run into potential contacts while navigating around in the waters. And here is also the submarine's fire control. Everything will be managed from the control room. It really is the brains of the operation. All the decisions for the submarine are based at control. Moving next to the torpedo room, here is the weapons launch console. They use the weapons launch console to help communicate weapons launching operations with the sub's fire control. There's also a missile control center where they monitor the safety and security of the weapon system, plus they maintain targeting and the launcher ready. At the launcher console is where they can control opening hatches, shutting hatches, monitoring tube temperatures and pressures. And on the fire control side is where sailors maintain the guidance system and the missiles themselves. So you can think of launcher console as the bronze of the weapon system and fire control as the brains of the operation. Nuclear ballistic missile submarines are specifically designed for stealth and for the precise delivery of nuclear warheads. They perform deep-sea operations and serve as nuclear deterrent, forming one of the three arms of the nuclear triad. So it's fair to say that sailors who volunteered for this type of work have another distinction that sets them apart from anyone else in the military. Plus, there is a say that they are the only fighting force in which virtually every sailor gains weight during a deployment.
I feel like these submarines are probably the biggest deterrents when it comes to like nuclear war, because like for example, like Kim Jong-un, he could easily decide to just launch a nuclear weapon into mainland USA. If that happens, then pretty much the entire USA is finished, is destroyed. But because they have these submarines, under the ocean, they could retaliate. Is what I'm saying? So yeah.
About 10 pounds on average. This kind of proves how good the food is on a submarine.
Hopefully we don't get copyrights because of this music.
We're finished.
Yeah, almost finished. Fish boy. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it. But, yeah, this was a fascinating video, man. Fascinating video.
Fascinating for sure, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on, man, in running these submarines. There's a lot.
Tight, compact.
Yeah,
Everyone's disciplined. Can't contact your family for 2 to 3 months.
yeah. It's not for anyone.
Hard work.
Or it's not for everyone, but you you need to be built for this type of
Built
stuff.
differently, man.
Yeah. But I'm here, guys. You know, if you like the reaction, smash this like button. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to sub to our Patreon, link in the description.